What happens when the world stops trusting the dollar? It sounds unthinkable, right? For decades, the American dollar has been the bedrock of the global economy, the ultimate safe haven, the one thing you could always count on when everything else was falling apart. But now, a major shift could be on the horizon. At the center of it is none other than Donald Trump. Most people don't realize how much America's power comes from the simple fact that the dollar rules the world. When countries trade oil, food, technology, even when they make massive government deals, they almost always do it in dollars. That's not a point of pride. It gives the US a huge advantage, lower borrowing costs, global influence, and the ability to impose crushing sanctions without firing a single shot. That dominance isn't guaranteed. It's built on trust that the US will manage its economy responsibly, honor its debts, and act like the adult in the room. And that trust is starting to crack. Trump's return to the political stage has sent shockwaves through global markets, not just because of his chaotic style or his controversial policies, but because of what he's threatening to do to the economy itself. He is slapping massive tariffs on imports. He's putting 10% universal tariffs across the board on every nation on every single import. He's pushed for decoupling from China, even if it means economic pain for American businesses and consumers. And he has embraced an almost casual attitude toward the federal debt, once musing about just renegotiating America's obligations like some shady casino loan. If you're a global investor, a central banker, or a world leader, that kind of talk sends shivers down your spine. Because the stability of the dollar rests on predictability. It rests on the idea that the US won't suddenly rip up the rules of the game for short-term gain. And yet, here we are. Even before Trump, there were warning signs. Countries like China and Russia have been trying to chip away at the dollar dominance for years, building up gold reserves, setting up alternative payment systems, and even doing deals in local currencies instead of greenbacks. But Trump's aggressive America First policies could accelerate that shift in a way that nobody's ready for. Think about it. With blanket tariffs, you're not just talking about a few angry farmers or more expensive TVs. You're talking about massive disruptions to global supply chains. You're talking about inflation spikes. You're talking about other countries starting to wonder, why should we keep so much of our wealth tied to a country that might turn protectionist overnight? And if Trump starts messing around with the US debt, either by defaulting, renegotiating, or just undermining confidence, it's game over. Treasury bonds, the global standard of safe investments, could start to look shaky. Countries could start dumping dollars, and the US could face a crisis not seen since the Great Depression. It's not just about economics, it's about power. If the dollar weakens, so does America's ability to shape global events. Sanctions would become less effective. Allies might drift away. Rivals like China could seize the opportunity to push their currencies and their political models as better alternatives. It's a domino effect, and it's terrifyingly easy to imagine how it could start. One impulsive tweet, one reckless policy, one trade war too many. Some defenders argue, well, Trump is a businessman. He'll never let the dollar collapse. But business isn't governance. Negotiating the real estate deals isn't the same as managing the world's largest economy. And Trump's track record, both in business and in politics, is littered with bankruptcies, broken promises, and chaotic gambles. The scary thing is, a lot of Americans might not even see it coming. They'll be focused on jobs, immigration, and culture wars, all the hot button issues that dominate headlines. Meanwhile, the foundation of America's power, the quiet, boring, essential machinery of global finance, could be crumbling beneath their feet. By the time people realize what's happening, it might be too late. It's not just doom and gloom speculation. Already we're seeing shifts. Saudi Arabia and China are cutting deals outside the dollar system. Emerging economies are hedging their bets, holding fewer US assets. And major financial players are quietly preparing for a world where the dollar isn't king. It won't happen overnight. The dollar's strength is deep and resilient. But every crisis, every reckless move, every blow to America's credibility chips away at it. Think of it as like a giant stone pillar, strong, towering, seemingly indestructible. But with every crack, every erosion, it becomes just a little bit weaker, until one day, the whole thing collapses. Not from a single blow, but from years of accumulated damage. That's the real risk with Trump's economic plans. Not just short-term pain at a gas pump or the grocery store, but a slow, grinding loss of global leadership and massive economic benefits that come with it. America's greatest strength has always been that when the world was on fire, people still believed in the US. They believed they would stand firm. The dollar wasn't just currency, it was confidence, stability, trust. Lose that, and we lose far more than just bragging rights. We lose leverage, we lose prosperity, we lose a part of what has made America the powerhouse it is today. This is happening, and the question now is, how far will it go?